my channel today. So today's video is going to be on lenses. So I know this should have been up last week. I'm so sorry. I got so swamped last week. So I'm finally getting it up for you guys this week. And plus I had a lot of research to do on the topic because lenses are kind of hard for me to explain because I'm still learning what aperture is and what ISO is, all those photography terms. I never took photography class, so I had to learn all this on my own. This is watching videos, reading articles, and then half the time it still goes over my head. So if you guys have any more information that I do not cover in this video about lenses or photography, all that fun stuff, then leave it in the comments down below so that way you could kind of teach everyone here what you know and kind of teach me too, because I'm still learning as well. And I would love to hear your guys' input on the topic. And then also next week is going to be our video on audio. So this is definitely a huge video to do because audio is so important on YouTube, especially with videos and stuff, because people don't want to listen to crappy audio. And as you guys know, in the last previous videos, I've had some problems with my old mic. So I finally went and walked away from that mic, got a new one. Let me know what you guys think of the sound. And yeah, so I will go more in depth with that and kind of go over my experiences with different mics and all that fun stuff. So make sure to stay tuned for that and make sure to subscribe because that is a really good video to watch because audio is key on YouTube. So now without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into lenses. All right, so I obviously am gonna have my notes right here. So if you see me looking down at all, I'm reading off of this because this stuff is so hard for me to explain and just kind of transfer over to you guys. So first off, before we get into this, all my equipment, everything I talk about is going to be listed down below in the description box. So they'll have links there so you guys can go check it out. But yeah, it just makes it really easy for you guys to find all the equipment. But first off, I'm gonna talk about my little camera bag that I have here. So this is the camera bag that I store all my lenses in and my camera if I am traveling. And it's awesome, you guys. And plus I got this for so cheap. Look at how huge this bag is, right? It's super nice. It's a Canon bag. I got it for 19 bucks at Best Buy. And you know how I do it is with Best Buy is you can price match anything. So if you find something at Best Buy for cheaper on a website, you just bring that up to the cash register and you show it to them and they'll price match it for you, which is awesome. So I get a lot of really good deals at Best Buy. I love Best Buy because I love B&H too. B&H Photo is a great site to go to and so is Amazon, but I get really impatient sometimes and I just want to purchase it right then and there. So yeah. So that's why I tend to go to Best Buy mostly, but definitely Amazon and B&H Photo is a great place to shop. I love those ones too. But this is my little carrying case. I absolutely love it. It just opens up. Let me open it up. It's super nice and I got it for so cheap. I think it was originally maybe 40 bucks or something. I don't remember. I'll have it listed down below if I can find it there. And then it has the compartments. So you can see it's huge and you can move all these compartments to be which way you want it to be. Then there's also some stuff like lens cleaners and extra tripod things I have there. And then I have stuff on the sides like my dead cats, which are those little fuzzy furry things that go over your mic if you're shooting out in the wind. They're really sad names. I was telling my sister what the name was of them. She goes, "Are you serious? Is that what the name is?" She didn't believe me and she looked it up and she was like, "Holy moly, they really call that a dead cat." I'm like, yeah, some of them call it a dead kitten too. But sad, but that's what they call it. So I have my lenses in here and yeah, it's down because I'm not gonna be talking about any lenses in there right now. The first lens I'm gonna be talking about is the one that I'm filming on right now. And I've been filming my videos with this lens for a really long time now. How long have I been filming with this lens? I want to say I've been filming with it ever since I moved back from Florida. I used to film with a different lens and I saw this one at a photography store down in downtown San Diego. And I absolutely fell in love with it because it zooms. So this lens is called the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter and it's an f1.8. So basically the 18 to 35 millimeter is going to mean that it zooms. It's not a fixed lens, which is awesome. The one main lens that everyone uses here on YouTube is the Sigma 30mm f1.4. That's the one that everyone uses. I have that one too, and I used that one for a while. But when I saw that there was a Sigma lens that had a low f-stop, but it zoomed, which is just one of the very first lenses that ever did that. I think it might be this one. There might be a couple more out there, but I remember him saying that this was one of the only lenses that it has a low f-stop and zooms. I love the fact that this lens zooms. I hated that about the Sigma 30mm because that one you would have to move the tripod, and it's such a pain. This one, if I'm a little bit too far back or a little bit too close, I can zoom in and out. So it makes getting those shots a lot easier. I mean, it doesn't zoom like dramatically in, but it does zoom quite a bit, which is awesome. So I love this lens. I definitely recommend it, especially if you want that blurry background like how you see. And look at, the closer I get to you, the blurrier that background gets. I like to sit like right about here, but you can see how if I get closer, you'll start getting those bokeh. So what I do is I just take Christmas lights and I just hang them around, and this also helps my auto white balance on my camera. But that's how I get those bokeh lights back there, which are basically the lights, but they turn into circles. That's called bokeh. So having that lower f-stop, which means the aperture, the lens will get a lot wider. So it's gonna have a wider hole, which is going to add some dimension and create a really sharp focus point, which is me. And that's why I love the Sigma lenses over any other lens, is because they are so sharp in their pictures. The quality of these lenses are amazing. I like them way more than Canon lenses. There's just like a sharpness to it, and it just creates a really gorgeous picture, especially for the videos that I film. And I love the blurry background, and I get that with this lens, and it zooms, which is awesome. And that's basically why everyone gets a Sigma 30mm, but this one's 10 times better, you guys, because it zooms. So I definitely recommend this one. Skip on the 30mm and get this one, because you can get that same effect, yet you'll be able to zoom and you'll have more options with it. So it also has a hypersonic motor, which means it's gonna have fast autofocusing, and it's going to be silent. So as you guys can tell with me, you don't really hear my autofocus as much. There are some cameras that you do, but I think it's because the camera body isn't as compatible with those lenses. With mine, I'm using a Canon 70D, and I don't get that at all. And then I also make it on a single autofocus, so wherever is in that box is in focus, so I try to stay in there, so that way it's not constantly like focusing on you. But this one is amazing. It focuses really fast, it's silent. I love this lens so much, and I highly recommend it, but I just love how I get that blurry background and then how sharp I am in the picture too. So I always get questions on that. So if you guys are looking for a really good lens, I definitely recommend the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8. It's amazing, but I'm gonna warn you, it's a little pricey. It's about $800. The Sigma 30mm, which I'm gonna show next up, is about $500. So honestly, spend the extra $300 and get a way better lens that you have more options with, rather than the 30mm. But that's if you have the money for it. But I definitely think if you are doing YouTube as a job and you're gonna be sticking with it, it's definitely worth the investment. I love this lens. All right, so next up here, I have the Sigma 30mm lens. This is an f1.4. So this actually has even a lower aperture than this one, but honestly, you still get the same quality, which is amazing. But this is the size of it. This one's awesome because it is smaller. The one that I have on my camera right now is like huge. It's huge. So if you're using that, make sure you have a sturdy tripod so that way it doesn't fall over. But this is what this lens looks like. You just take off the cap, and then there you go. It is a fixed lens, so you cannot zoom with this, which is the one thing I hated about it, because I had to move this lens pretty far back. And I was filming in Florida, and I didn't have a very big room because I was sharing an office with Joel, and it was horrible. So I was like, God, I just don't have enough room to film with this lens. So, but this one is a very nice sharp lens. I'm actually gonna put it on my camera right now so that way you guys can see the quality of it. All right, so this is the Sigma 30mm lens. It's the f1.4, so you guys can see the quality of it. It is awesome too. I mean, just look at this. I actually haven't filmed with this lens in this setup yet, and it looks really good. You know what? I might use this a little bit, but I've definitely had to move my seat closer, and it's so funny looking at this lens because it's so small compared to the lens I've been filming on. But you can see the quality is awesome too. So again, this is another great lens, especially if you don't want to splurge on the 800 of my other lens that I usually film on. This is another great option too. You just have to move the tripod like either closer to you or further away. You can't like zoom in or anything. That's the only down part about this lens, but you can just see how vibrant the color is, and I'm fixated on it, and you see the closer I move, the more bokeh is going to be in that background. That's the one thing that sucks about my filming room, is my filming room's pretty small, so I can't be like too far away from everything, because I have two TV trays like right in front of me with my little monitor right here, so I don't have much space in this room. I don't know why I took this room, because this is the smallest room in the house, which is weird. Joel got the bigger room and I chose this one. I don't know why. This is a great lens. I definitely recommend this one. This one is, again, $499, basically $500. I will have it linked down below for you guys. So this is another great option. And this is a lens that majority of the YouTubers film on, especially all those DIY girls. They're always filming on the 30mm. It's a great lens. It's definitely awesome. I just definitely prefer the other one more because it can zoom, but it's a huge lens too. Let me grab that one so you guys can see how big it is. All right, so this right here is the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8. So you guys see how huge this lens is. I don't have the back of it, so I need to be really careful. And then this is the front of it. Let me open it up for you guys. There you go. Super nice lens. It is heavy, so you definitely have to make sure you have a really sturdy tripod with it. It's huge. So it's a lot bigger than the 30mm. Makes the camera a lot heavier. So that is probably another con to that, is that it's so big, but it's an awesome lens. But this one's cool too because it makes your camera so light, and it feels so weird staring at this lens because I feel like I don't have like a massive lens in my face. I don't know. It's crazy, but this is another great lens. You guys can see the quality here. Really pretty. Definitely recommend it. All right, so next up I have another lens that I'm going to be talking about, and if you guys can see a little white fur animal, that's obviously Elsa. She's being needy right now. She's locked in my room. But this next lens is actually a cheaper option than the lens I'm filming on right now, which is the Sigma 30mm. This one is called the Canon 50mm, and this has an f1.8, so it's the same kind of f-stop that I have on my other Sigma lens, and this one's a lot cheaper. It's only $110. I actually got this one first, and then I went and splurged for the Sigma one. I actually like the Sigma ones better than the Canons, like I was saying, because I feel like the pictures are so much more vibrant and so much more sharper. I just feel like the quality is there on Sigma rather than Canon. So I like it better, but you can see this is another really small lens. It's a fixed lens, so it doesn't zoom or anything. So this lens has an f-stop of 1.8, so it's going to give you that blurry background, but for a way cheaper price. It's only $110. You can get this at Best Buy, Amazon, B&H Photo. I will have it linked down below for you, so if you don't want to splurge $500 or $800 for that blurry background, this is a great option to go to. I just noticed that it's not as sharp as a picture as my Sigma one, but let's go ahead and put this on my camera and see how it looks. All right, so now I'm filming on the Canon 50mm lens, and oh my god, you guys, my camera's like so far back. It's as far back as it can go, and look at, you can't even see so much in the shot. Because it's a 50mm lens, it has to be further back. So the lower the lens, like millimeter wise, the closer it can be. And the bigger the number is, the further away it has to be. So this is a 50mm, it has to be really far back. Like I can't even come close to reaching it. And this is as much as you see in my background right now, which is crazy. But as you guys can see, the closer I go, I do get the bokeh effects with the lights, which is awesome. So it's only $110, but you have to keep that camera far away from you. So if you don't have an external mic on your camera, I don't recommend the lens because it's not gonna be able to pick up the sound because it's so far away. I have a new external mic that is actually sit right here on a tripod next to me, so that will pick up my sound, but this is so far away. And also, I'm hearing the autofocus on it. It's super loud because remember the Sigma ones have a hypersonic autofocus. So when that lens is autofocusing, it's a lot quieter. This one's a lot louder. I've definitely noticed because I hear it like autofocusing and I'm like, damn, that's loud. So yeah. This lens is a good option for only being $110. So if you don't have the money to be able to get the $500 one or the $800 one, this is a great alternative to that, to be able to get the blurry background if that's what you want. And it also gives you a pretty crisp picture, so you got a really good focus point as well. It's just the down part is you have to have this camera like super far back. Like I couldn't get it any more far back because I have another little system right over on that side. This room's really small, so this just would not work if I was filming with this lens in this room. But there you go. This is the Canon 50mm lens. We're going to go ahead and switch back to the Sigma one because I can't stand having this camera so far back right now. All right, so I am back on my Sigma 18 to 35mm lens. I love this one, but also if you guys notice the picture color changing, it's because I'm changing these lenses. Some of them have a wider aperture, so it's going to change the brightness and the color. So I'm sorry for like the color not being consistent in this video. I can definitely tell it's not here on my monitor, but But the last lens I'm going to be talking about is the lens that came with my camera. When you guys get the Canon 70D, or if you buy any camera, just buy the body, don't buy the lens that comes with it, because it makes it more expensive, and usually the kit lenses aren't the best, and this is the one that I got in it. So this lens is a Canon 18 to 135 millimeter lens. This one zooms a ton. Check that out. Do you see that? This lens gets big and it's heavy. So this was a lens that came with my camera, like I was saying. It's a good lens. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it when I got it. It doesn't really give you that blurry background. It has a f-stop of 3.5 to 5.6. So the aperture doesn't open up as much. So not as much light is going to be coming in. So this camera is going to be very dark in a sense. So you have to adjust the ISO with it, which sucks because if you're filming in a dark room, you're not gonna like this lens because it's not gonna be able to allow the maximum of light coming in. And that's what the aperture is. It's basically like the hole. So the bigger the hole, the more light's going to come in, which means the lower the f-stop, the bigger the hole. The higher the f-stop, the smaller the hole. So you know if the hole is small, you're not going to see much light coming in. The bigger the hole, more light's going to come in. So that's why you always want those lower f-stops, because they're really good if you're not filming in natural light and you're filming like with studio lights, or you're filming in a dark room. It lets more light in, which is why I love those other lenses. All right, so now let's just go ahead and put this one on my camera, and then we'll talk about how much it retails for and all that fun stuff. I want to see the quality of this thing on my camera. I'm really excited. I haven't seen it in the setup, so let's see what I get. All right, so now I have that Canon lens on here, and again, it's super weird. This lens is so like different to look at. It's crazy looking at these different lenses when I'm so used to looking at just one lens, you know, that I'm used to. But this is the Canon 18 to 135 millimeter lens, so you guys can see the quality here. All right. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm just looking at the quality of this lens, and it looks so much better now that I know how to properly set up a camera, because let me tell you, learning how to set up your camera properly just changes everything. And I'm just noticing this lens isn't all that bad. It's a great starter lens, I definitely have to say, but it's $500, so that's pretty expensive. I would definitely go and get the Sigma 30 millimeter instead of this one. But I'm actually really impressed with this lens, and especially just kind of seeing how you do the settings on your camera. It can really maximize the quality of each lens that you have, and that's awesome. So if you guys want to know some tips on setting up a camera, make sure to check out my last video that I did. I showed you guys kind of how to change the aperture, the ISO, and the shutter speed, and then also how to adjust the contrast, adjust the saturation, and all that fun stuff like the sharpness. It truly changes the picture. Like you guys can see right now, if you watch my older videos, like in the beginning, I filmed them with this lens, and it did not look like this because I didn't know how to properly set up a camera. So definitely learn your camera, definitely learn how to set it up properly, and I guarantee you, you'll be able to maximize the quality out of it, which is awesome. But let me know in the comments down below what your favorite lens was in this video. If it was the Canon 50 millimeter, the Canon 18 to 135 millimeter, or the Sigma 30 millimeter, or the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter. Let me know what your guys' favorites is in the comments down below. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found it very helpful. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!